One of the best films that I remember from my childhood and that thrilled me on a Saturday night was The Vikings with Kirk Douglas, and we also share a facial characteristic. Oh no! I'm here today at the Ancient Technology Centre to find out more about the Vikings and the Dark Ages. Here I am in a group in the house with a Saxon man. His name is Kana, but for today he's going to be known as Mark. So Mark, can you tell us what you're doing here?
Okay, I'm just preparing my tools, ready to do a little bit of leather work. I've got some goat hide here, which I'm going to make into a small pouch. As a leather worker, I'd have been responsible for all sorts of things, from shoes, thonging, parts of clothing, pouches.
And shields as well, I believe.
Shields, of course, sword scabbards. Leather was a very important material back then and probably very expensive, more so than today.
Okay, so tell me about the social implications of being a leather worker. Would you have been able to move up the ranks and become an important person? Would you have ever become rich?
Probably highly unlikely to have become rich, but you would have made a living. You would have been an important craftsman, almost certainly a free person, not a slave.
Ah, okay. So it's interesting you've just mentioned slaves there. Were slaves still prevalent in the Saxon period then?
Yes, they were. You had slaves, you had various layers of society. So you'd have had slaves at the bottom, then free men, working their way up to what we would call lords and royalty.
How do you feel about the fact that now it's considered that the Dark Ages describes a period in time post the Roman age where we regressed as a society?
I suppose I'd use something physical.
Okay.
Because I would bring out something which, as a leather worker, I could make belts and pouches like this. And on the leather work could be a buckle like this, and this is an actual replica of one that was found in Wiltshire, not too far from here.
Wow.
This is an early Saxon, and this buckle is bronze. All of this work for a belt buckle.
Yeah.
Is that Dark Age?
Is that regressive? I mean, it's intricate. It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? Really. So you're saying that no, that's not something that you'd agree with then, that it was a regressive period.
No, I think they were amazing craftsmen in their own right, and Dark Ages may be something we say nowadays.
Yeah.
Today we'll be cooking some honey flatbreads actually. It's quite seasonal because I'll be using a bit of cream, bit of eggs, bit of milk, everything that is really summery, let's say.
So that sounds quite rich. Is this the sort of thing that they would have eaten in the Dark Ages then?
You certainly had it. You can make it. You have so many different recipes. But since you have basically wheat flour, eggs, honey, bit of water or bit of milk, and anything you'd like on it. You can even make a sort of jam with some plums or apples that you stew, or berries actually. First thing, you have a nice wooden trough and you put some flour in. That's really the basics. After that, you'll break, I'd say 2 eggs. I'm not very, very good at proportions, but you add a bit of flour if you need more, etc. Pinch of salt. Somebody told me that it actually makes the egg yolks work separated better. I have no idea. I could use my whisk. You actually have still traditionally in Sweden whisks made with silver birch, twigs, things like that. They are absolutely fantastic. You see, it works really well. And after that, I'm not certain if you yourself want to take part in it. Would you like to put some? Really?
Yeah,
well, I'll add some honey and maybe use the spatula first. Yeah. And after that, I promise you can get your hands dirty, not to worry. Just stirring it a bit.
Even I can do this, Caroline.
Oh, brilliant. See, white flour like that, especially pure wheat white flour, was really expensive. So I consider them in this form as a treat. Very expensive flour. Quite a lot of honey. Even if it's not that expensive, it's still taking from another recipe that you would, or making mead, definitely. So that's quite all right. And if you want to make it richer or a bit more expensive, you use the cream, you use the milk.
Yeah.
These products are seasonal, so you are meant to keep them and really use them to make salted butter and hard cheese to have dairy food throughout the winter. We always have the idea, for example, for the Vikings that they are traveling long distances. Well, if you are a merchant or traveling distances, you have to have food, you have to cook it yourself. There's a lot of men cooking their dinners over the open fire in the wild.
This is looking a bit sticky. Am I,
yes.
Am I on the right
I might
lines?
add a bit of flour, bear with me. Hayley, actually, that's really good notions of baking and making bread.
Okay, what's that looking like to
That
you?
is really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
lovely.
that's a lovely consistency. And as you said, it's not sticky anymore. Lovely. You mixed it really well. Look at that.
Oh, thank you.
Gosh. Oh, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
So what I do is I take a bit of it, you turn it into a little ball, and you flatten it with the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
Now you can stop there, but I want them to cook fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So instead, you can use your fingers to elongate it, really make it thinner and bigger. Something like that. So feel free to have a go. Now your hands are full of flour anyway. And if it gets sticky, you add a bit of flour on your hands, that's it. So now we can put them on the skillet, which is just there over the fire, and I put a bit of butter on it. There you go. See, it's not very, very hot, so once they will be on, I'll just put them right over the embers and up.
Oh, I can see the butter
bubble.
sort of bubbling. Yeah, great.
This will be a bit of a thicker one, but there's cheese in it, so nobody will mind, really.
This is what I love about cooking, is the fact you get satisfaction out of seeing your friends and family eat it afterwards, don't you?
Yes, definitely.
It's making my eyes. Don't get that from the oven. Are they looking ready then, Caroline?
Well,
What do you
actually,
think?
yes, they do. Up-la. So,
It's really hot here.
it's a really hot fire.
Yeah.
So you can have, I use a skillet like that because of practicality.
Yes.
You would use, a skillet is just a frying pan with a long handle. These are my favorite, but my blacksmith is late for the moment. Here you go.
Oh.
So instead of having the dough, here you go. You can even take the knife and cut them to see if they're ready.
So these are definitely looking like mine, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
The question is, do I try my own? Do I risk it?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a look.
And there's always something good with it.
Yeah.
That looks done.
Yeah.
You can add some honey or
yes, please.
honey cream.
Dribble a bit on.
Oh yes, even on the cakes themselves. Honey makes everything better.
Oh, sorry.
They might be hot. Well, they're probably
wow.
really hot actually. Let's see if the cheese one worked. Oh, that looks okay.
That would go with cheese as well, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I'm
Look at
obsessed
that.
with cheese. I keep talking about cheese. Yeah, that's really, really tasty. Thank you so much. You've got a few volunteers, I think, that might want to have a taste.
Maybe. Well, here you go. That's the cheese one. So if you ever want to have a
That's
taste,
the cheese one.
that's really hot
you.
though. But you see, the cheese melted in the middle. That's my favourite, really.
Oh, that is my favourite. That's lovely. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much.
You're very
I'm going to
welcome.
eat the rest of that in a minute.
Well, I've had another wonderful day here at the Ancient Technology Centre, and I think I've made some friends. Oh, hey, oh, God!